Okay. Okay, let's finish this video because it's getting hot. Frito? Alright, so the phone was overheating and it shut the live video off because temperature is very hot. Anyway, I was talking about the issues with this. Oh yeah, I was talking about the tire wear. Let's go there right now. Let's finish that talk and then come back here to finish the video because it's just getting too hot. So what I was saying before the video cut off is then you have to pay attention to the tires, which is the most important part of your truck. It's always in contact with the road, and this truck is about to leave, and the driver came and dropped it off because he needed an oil change, but he never paid attention to this. So this is something very important. Go around your truck, inspect your truck. It takes like 15 minutes or less, depending on how severe the damage is or what you find. But that can save a lot of time over the road and money. That will be more important. So right now, we have to tell the owner of this truck that he has to replace this tire. The other ones are fine. Just this one will be enough to repair this issue. Now let's get to the shade because the phone is going to overheat again. So anyway, I'm sorry about what happened earlier, but anyway, this is the continuation of that live video. And what I'm saying about Cummins ISXs is then their engines and they're exposed to any problems. At this point, I don't think that there is a good engine. They all have problems somehow. There is some engines that are cheaper and some others that are better for performance. So it varies. You cannot have all together. You cannot have a powerful engine and reliable engine, and then you cannot have a very weak engine but reliable too. So it is just one thing on other. You cannot combine both in this modern time because of emission systems and so many things. Then manufacturers are adding to the engines because of EPA is asking for so much, and still on top of that they still have to comply with the fuel economy, and that is like a lot to combine together. So not only you have more powerful engines nowadays, you also have better fuel economy, and engines that are smoother, engines that complying with emissions, and also engines that can provide 24/7 duties. So that combination is pretty hard to supply, and that's the reason why we have engines that don't last 500,000 miles nowadays, because of the technology that is being put up to this engine is not strong enough to work all these components these engines have. Before, in the past, engines were more reliable. Cummins M14s, N11s, Series 60s, and the ISX, the original ISX, the one that had two cams and mechanical fuel pump and mechanical injection, those were pretty reliable because they didn't have that many components. They didn't have EGRs. They did have computers, but the computers were mostly to control ignition timing, firing timing. There was no more than that, and they were straight pipe. They have a muffler just to kill the sound, but it didn't have a EGR, as I said before. They didn't have many sensors and fuel pressures. Most of the fuel pumps at that time, they were all mechanical, and there were low pressure fuel pumps, and the high pressure devices were the rocker arms, then were hitting the each injector then was firing. So in essence, the engine was basically a mechanical engine, just with few electronic components to make it run a little smoother and better fuel economy. And that's the reason why those engines were very reliable, because they weren't relying in so many electronics as these engines are nowadays. Then everything is electronics, as for example, these Cummins X15s, Detroit's DD15s, DD13s, and so many other engines. They don't even have lobes for the injectors anymore. They have electronics and high pressure fuel pumps then control this injection, and that is the reason why these engines are very hard to maintain, very hard to repair, very expensive to repair. And just because there is no easy way to control emissions nowadays, you need to involve electronics. And if you wonder, this is not going to get any better. The future of trucking is going to get a little more and more. Eventually, it's going to get better. I mean, harder and harder to repair, to maintain, to keep you on business if you are an owner operator, because the new trucks are not getting friendly. The new trucks, they're coming with the screens as dashboards, and that is not very friendly. If something breaks, probably the screen could be reliable, but for any reason, you drop something, you do coffee or something, hit the screen or something, the screen doesn't work anymore, you have to replace a $5,000 dashboard. And same thing with the headlights, same thing with the injector, same thing with the fuel pumps. Electronics and mechanical components are getting mixed together, and that is what is bumping the prices on these trucks. And that is not something very friendly for any mechanic, then it's not very capable to work in electronics. If you are a mechanic then still learning on electronics, it's going to be harder and harder and harder to keep up with these newer trucks, because as we go, they're putting more electronics day by day. So there is not a chance that we're gonna be able to survive if we don't get to learn electronics on these trucks. And once they start releasing electric trucks, it's even gonna be worse than it is right now, because then electric trucks are going to be 100% electronics when it comes to powertrain. Of course, the brakes and everything has to be mechanical, because that needs to be mechanical in case something fails. You have to be able to stop the truck by using a mechanical force. That's the reason why they don't allow brakes to be electronic. But other than that, they want to have as much as electronics on the systems, because they want people to have easier time driving, and most people is distracted when they're driving, so electronics are always taking a part on the driving routines of everybody, and that's the reason why everything is expensive, because nowadays a transmission does the work that you used to do by shifting gears. Now a radar in front of the truck does everything you have to do by braking and moving forward in case you have a problem. I mean, in case you don't see the front traffic, and for any reason you wanna hit the front traffic, the radar in front is going to stop the truck for you. So there are so many things that are beneficial with technology, but so many things are not. But anyway, this is the conclusion of what I'm saying about how expensive it is to maintain these trucks nowadays, and it's not going to get any better. And the consequences, the mechanical parts and still being mechanical are suffering so much, because they're working more than whatever they're supposed to work, because they don't only still the same, but they also have to provide more fatigue to maintain all these other electronics, all these other components in 100% functionality to maintain their duties on the road. But I suppose that this is all I have to say. I want to try to do another live video soon. I mean, next month, which is going to be August. and that we're gonna pick a different topic. If you have a topic or something then you want me to talk on the next live video, you can mention it, and hopefully it's not gonna be that hot, so that way we can walk around the shop easier, so that way the phone doesn't overheat, and that way we can continue on making more progress on the information that you are receiving from me, to continue on learning about this machine. So I hope you like this video. Thank you for watching. There was no question.